Hello everybody, Scott Golden here with the World Class Championship Review Series. July the 9th, 1988 is the episode for today. As we approach the, middle of summer, it is clear that this particular product is certainly much different than it was even 6 months ago. Samoan SWAT team against Mark Sterling and the Missing Link. Interesting combo because I think Link is the first real, let's say, world-class legendish type guy that the Samoans have been in the ring with. Link does manage to use his head as a weapon and send the Samoans out of the ring. Samoans stalk with such precision, they look good even when they're somewhat defensive. Sterling manages a drop kick. What I like about this is the Samoan, I believe it's Samu, stumbles around and does take a headbutt. It actually does sell. Short knee by the outside Samoan. It's hard to tell them apart, honestly. Hot shot on Sterling. Sterling taking the punishment, as should be the case, in the sense of the Link taking punishment from this relatively new tag team would not make any sort of logical sense. A lot of people might do it because he's the legend, but them still beating on the lesser partner while still interacting with a better or more established talent is a good idea. Near fall by the Samoans. They don't get what they want out of the near fall. We move into kind of a sidewalk slam maneuver. Link comes in, tries to save his partner a bit. That does not go according to his plan. Double headbutt by the Samoans. The selling, almost overselling of Mark is interesting here. Samoans continue their assault pretty viciously and continually. I love the fact that they're doing face paint, almost like trying to acknowledge the Road Warriors without doing so. You could say the face paint was tribal for them. Missing Link runs in, double team by the head shrinkers, or the Samoans more accurately, and one of them hits the top rope splash for another victory for them. Samoans certainly looking very good. Tatum and Victory comment on Steve Simpson. They are not impressed with his return. They want him to be gone. They believe that he's cost them a lot of opportunities. The jealousy that he has over their continued tag team success is a problem, and they are not happy with this. Highlights of Terry Gordy versus John Tatum. Tatum in a singles match, at least here, feels abnormal because he's so established, so set with Victory. But they literally do a highlight, and all it leads to is Victory being sent to the outside and a lariat by Terry Gordy for a victory. Simpson brothers ready for Tatum and Victory. They continue the promos between these two teams. There's a little more aggression than is normal, and that kind of goes in a major direction. Then we move into a Black Bart versus Sweet Brown Sugar aspect of match of things. Nothing really major here. Sweet Brown Sugar does bump around more so than the average opponent of Bart. Obviously, Sweet Brown Sugar has been around the territory on and off for several years, so he's established. Bart never really does find his stride after that World Championship run. Drop kick right under the chin. And again, doesn't get what he wants out of taking the shots, does Bart. But Sweet Brown Sugar looks really good. Amazed that he doesn't go to another territory very strongly after the closure of World Class. Anyhow, top rope hot shot, or a kind of a throat shot across the top rope there for Sweet Brown Sugar. Remember, Skandor Akbar on the outside. He is supervising all of this. He is going, I won't say nuts over all of this, but he's certainly more assertively aggressive than your average person, and the attempted sunset flip and successful sunset flip of Sweet Brown Sugar, but he does not get the fall. Irish whip into the other corner. Sugar tries the second rope splash, doesn't get it. Black Bart comes forward, hits a leg drop, 1, 2, 3, and gets the victory. Michael Hayes has words for Buddy Roberts, basically calls him a drunk, calls him someone he can't depend on, calls him a disgrace to the Freebirds. That's the undercurrent of that. Buddy Roberts in the next segment probably does some of the better mic work that I've ever seen Roberts do in the area. I'm a fan of Buddy Roberts in terms of bumping around for guys and making guys look good. I think he probably, of the Freebirds, might have been the best at bumping and feeding. But I'd never seen him much as a promo guy. Anyway, so Roberts comes out. He says he wants to bury the hatchet, keeps the Freebirds going. He says this is the first time that Hayes and Gordy and himself have not been around each other at the holidays. Basically makes a big deal out of the fact that their families are separated. Says it affects their children. Says it affects, everything associated with what they're about. He's not happy with this. Basically wants to fist bump and let it go. And Hayes says, no, I'm not doing that. And then pretty much it's kind of, I won't say settled fully, but Hayes thinks that he can't trust Roberts. It's a big thing. They show a clip of the pole match the two have had previously, and then, there's a lot of emotional appeal. Roberts brings the kids of both Gordy and himself into it, how it's affecting their kids, how there's more to life than wrestling. I really, actually, believe it or not having watched this before, bought the promo. I bought that maybe they've reunited, and I didn't. And then, so there is an attack by the Samoans on Michael Hayes that leads to a whole bunch of chaos. Side suplex, big splash, all that, and Hayes is laid out. So Buddy Roberts is now the manager, I guess you'd say, of the Samoans. It's a big deal. Iceman and Akbar discuss the Von Erichs and Hayes in the next segment. This is, your basic promo, acknowledging, Iceman talks about Akbar being the greatest thing to ever happen to him. He does his "it bees that way sometimes" line. Akbar basically calls Hayes a sissy. He basically says the Von Erichs need to be handled, that everyone's trying to shut him down. Has been for years. It's not going to happen. Then we go to the, 187th match between the Simpson brothers and Victory and Tatum. It's just, I don't know. It's not that great. It's a fine main event, but after you've seen it so many times, what more can you see it? Simpson starts off with, so Jack Victory. It's a very basic, formulaic tag match. They go to the floor. The baby faces are in control early. Heels are doing a lot of begging off. What I don't like about this feud is it never feels like anything ever gets resolved in the matches. Like, there isn't a plateau. Now, I understand it probably is. They're a small territory with minimal tag teams. I would have put the Samoans, honestly, in there with Simpson and whatever, and the Simpsons, and kind of seen if you could get a tag team title match program out of them. Maybe they do that after October. I don't know, because I don't have access to that footage. But suffice to say, at this point, the booking is somewhat lame here. And then, they work the arm of Victory. Tatum seems to be aging a little bit, slowing down just a little bit. Jack Victory, manages to hang out. He's using, I guess, power and cheating tactics. Dropkick by one of the Simpsons. It's a very basic match. A lot of bump and feed from the heels, which is good. Tatum, wearing purplish pink tights, actually goes upside down on a post drop kick. So it's not that the wrestling isn't solid or good. It's just it's not, anything that between these two teams we haven't seen before. Tatum and Victory cut off the ring on their adversaries for a couple of minutes. Tatum finds himself about to get launched on off the top rope by one of the Simpsons. However, Victory knocks him off the rope, and then the heels are bumping and feeding once again. Also, the benefit of this, the match goes 9 to 11 minutes, somewhere in there, and it just feels too long. Yet again, we see nothing get resolved between these two teams, and the match ends with the baby faces coming out ahead, but we know we're going to see them again, and that just is frustrating. Anyway, we'll be back with more action right after this.